We're live.
Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 311. I'm Laura, also known as Lala. Totally flip-flop that.
I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. Today is Monday, August 15th. And this is the last time we ever have to record this way.
It's amazing. Amazing.
We've actually recorded long distance longer than we recorded.
That's so sad. We just did what, two years in the same room? And then 4 years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 4 years apart. Yep. And soon forever in the same room.
Yeah.
Forever. So there's that. Oh, we're gonna have to buy a camera probably. We should talk about that when we're not on the air. So let's get to the knitting. I'm gonna go first because I can. Unless I didn't say yes.
By saying it's going to be a short episode because neither one of us really has much, and we're not reviewing a book.
We are not, but I'm going to talk about 2 books actually later on. So we're quasi-reviewing a book, but not really. All right, so first thing on the needles for me is I have been watching the Olympics. Oh my gosh, the Olympics. Heartbreaking and amazing at the same time. And knitting on my Flex Light by Tin Can Knits. This is like a little sweater. And in the original pattern, it has garter that runs down the sleeves. I'm not doing that. I am just going to go to town with, because this colorway doesn't need garter on the sleeves. It just needs to be amazing. This is Marigold Jen in the October colorway, and I had a tag, but now I don't. So it is super pretty. I love how it like changed from the striping at the top to like some flashing to just straight on. We're striping in big giant stripes and there's nothing you can do about it. Like, it's amazing. I'm kind of really digging it, and I think the person that it is for will also be really digging it. This is for one of my teachers at work, so she is very cool. I actually took her are you familiar with Skippy John Jones? Was that
the name? I've never read the book, but okay, talked about it.
So Skippy John Jones has a book series, and I went to take that. Sometimes when we introduce new concepts, we use picture books because it takes it down to the simplest form, and then you build on that. It's called scaffolding sometimes. And so I took her a Skippy John Jones book, and I was like, I love Skippy John Jones, but you have to be able to like at least do a little bit of Spanish, and you have to want to read quite a bit. And she was like, I'm totally on board with that. So that's the kind of person she is. But this will be perfect for her. She has a little 4-year-old boy right now, and this is for her new little girl that's due in October. I'm knitting this on size 2 for the ribbing, and then size 4 for the zip around stockinette with the crazy pooling. And I'm going to zip 5 inches.
Are you going to do long sleeves or short sleeves?
I think so. Because October, and it's sock weight. So this is the fingering weight version, Flex Light, versus the worsted weight version. So it does get pretty cool. This is a 0 to 6 month size. So it'll be winter, and it is like the gauge is still pretty loose. So I think it'll be a good layering piece. And it does have a stretchy neckband to go over big giant baby heads, which I love. And that's a requirement, I feel like, in a good baby knit / kids knit is a stretchy over the head, don't take off children's ears type neckline. So that's about it. It's almost at the 5 inches that it needs to be lengthwise. I might add a little bit of length just so it can grow a little bit more with her. And that will be a random gift. She was one of the multiple baby shower people, but I told her that I would knit her something awesome if she would wait. I feel like that may live up to that. I'll probably do a hat too, like a little pumpkin hat to go with it. Oh my gosh, how adorable would that be? So that is the first thing on the needles. I only have 2 things. My second thing is in my Bling My String bag, which is super cool. And it's got stitch markers on the side. And I am designing something for Foster
Sheep Farms.
Foster Farm Yarn. Yep.
Okay.
And it is, I think she's like, her website's Foster Sheep Farm. And it is 85% Romney and 15% Wensleydale, 395 yards per 4 ounces. So it's a fingering weight yarn in a gorgeous deep dark blue. And she asked me to design an asymmetrical shawl with texture. So that is what I'm doing, and I will show you the right side versus the wrong side. So I'm using garter along with, it's kind of hard to see because it's a dark colored yarn, but a slip stitch pattern. And that is about it. That's all I got going on. I'm going to be working on this pretty much exclusively from now on up. So it is going well. It's going to have an edging, an applied edging, I think, at the bottom. So I'm enjoying it. I do love a good applied edging. It's like my favorite technique ever. So
as long as it's not a cobweb bait lace with beads.
I am excited about the Even Star. I spun for the Even Star. So
I really enjoyed knitting most of it, but that edging about killed me.
I think I'm actually going to enjoy the edging more than the actual interior knit. But I'm not certain. You never know.
Yeah, I'm going to remind you.
I'm an enigma. You're going to remind me? Oh, and I totally failed. So I said I wasn't going to do house cup this term. Totally signed up today. Because I'm not going to do an owl, though. I'm skipping owls and newts this time around. So I'm just going to do my one class a month. Because Slytherin is reorganizing, so I want to be in on the reorganization. So there's that. And that's all I got, lady. 2 things.
Oh, okay. Sorry about, like, it looks like there's white fire behind me or something.
I love the ghost effect that you got going on.
Yeah, because I've packed up pretty much everything down here. The walls are white, my cabinets are white, and so the camera has nothing to focus on but the light, which is actually, you know, it's and I've got it pointed away trying to lessen the effect. It's just nothing's helping. So I'm sorry that it looks crazy. This is the last week that I'll be recording in this place. So
yay! There's still people in your house, by the way. Kobe and I did a drive by because we're creepers.
This week, they're going to be out, which is good because I'll be there this weekend. Yeah, they still had a few things they had to get out. Knitting.
Yeah, that thing that we do.
I really haven't been knitting a whole lot this week. I've been packing a lot, purging a lot. I've got an appointment for up here. The Veterans Administration does, or it's a charity for veterans, and they do like pickups for. Yeah, it's like a Goodwill sort of. They'll take the things that you don't want and repurpose them.
I think they're everywhere in the United States.
Okay.
Actually,
I've never seen them anywhere but here. And here, you know, once a month you get a little flyer in your mailbox that says, "Hey, don't forget about us." And so, got an appointment for those guys to come and get a bunch of stuff. But there's still things to be done, and I hate packing, but I'm not going to depress you with how much packing I've been doing this week.
I'm going to help you unpack, and by help you unpack, I mean play in your yarn and fiber while you unpack everything else.
Yeah, that's you know how when you go and you just have an enormous meal and you never want to eat again? It's kind of like that with yarn and fiber. I'm like, when I started packing them up, I went to Target and got like 10 of these big clear plastic bins, and I'm like, and my yarn's all going to go in here. And the fiber I intentionally kept separate because almost all my fiber was in its own little like Ziploc bag or whatever, and so I would fill medium boxes with like half books and half fiber so they wouldn't be too heavy to move.
That's super smart.
And
unless you're going to stack them on each other.
Well, yeah, but they're small enough that it's not.
Okay, it's not like a huge thing.
Yeah, no, they're like 12 by 12 and slightly wider. But They're over there. That's why I'm looking that way. I kept having to go back to Target and buy more bins, partially because Michael kept stealing them.
Oh, Michael.
But also because I have more than I thought I did. We have a friend that we met through the podcast, Marion in New York, who does work with mentally handicapped or disabled individuals, getting them, established in their own life where they, sort of can support themselves and keep themselves busy. And I've got 6 giant boxes I'm FedExing to her.
That's awesome.
Because I'm like, I would rather it go to someone I know who's going to use it. So I'm getting rid of a ton of stuff. Okay.
Fabulous.
You guys don't care about that. Knitting. So the only thing that I'm actively working on right now, although I probably will cast on a pair of socks because this is kind of unwieldy. This is the wrong bag. I have 2 Tom Bin bags.
Oh, and I ordered one for you.
Yeah, this one.
I ordered you red.
And this one is the one. It's not clear on the bottom. This is the one that folds down.
That's the travel tray. Oh, if you're looking for a good bag, that travel tray is amazing.
This is Tom Bin. This is the same company that makes the Maker bag, the Swift bag, a bunch of other ones. They're really heavy duty. In fact, they're made of like a nylon something.
Like a ripstop nylon.
And they actually clean very easily. And I know that because my cat vomited on the edge of mine, and I just took a cleaning solution and a rag, and it came right off like it was never there. More than you cared to know. Anyway, so the one thing I'm working on is my Nuvum. And this is out of Plucky Classics, Funny Affair at Tiffany's, something like that. This is a 50-50 silk merino blend. This is from my friend Rose stash that she sent me.
I was going to say, in the, oh my gosh, my stash is so big conversation, we did have a friend send you basically her entire stash.
Yeah, she, before she passed away, she sent me most of her things, and then after she passed away, her husband sent the rest. But and a lot of that we use for giveaways and for prizes and things like that to sort of send her out to all these places. But I'm not going to talk about that or I'll cry. So I've been working on Nuvum a little bit. Nuvum it is not a random shapeless bag like it looks. It's a shawl that's knit.
An elephant diaper, because that's kind of what it looks like right now.
These are like the silkiest and most expensive granny panties you've ever seen. It's a hexagonal and it's knit in the round. Or is it hexagonal or what's the 6th one? Septagonal. I don't know. Oh, but it is hexagonal. It's just stretched. We've talked about this before.
Yes, I feel like math shapes and I are never going to end a conversation in an appropriate
manner.
Man.
So I only knit a couple rows on this week. It's like 600 stitches a row, so it takes a long time. But I did make a little bit of progress, so I decided to show it. I'm on my 3rd skein.
Wow.
So one of them was sort of a half skein now, so. And I'm knitting them on size 5 needles. 3.75 millimeter needles.
Are you going to do an I-cord bind off on that? Because I've seen it with an I-cord bind off and it's kind of amazing.
I don't know. I've got like 5 years before I get to that point, so
you'll get to that. I bet you get to that before we go to Maryland Sheep and Wool next year. Maybe. I bet you finish it.
We'll see. But I did finish something. Do you have anything you want to show?
No.
Okay. I
have no spinning either, so just keep going.
It's been a really off week for you, but you've also had my 13-year-old to keep busy.
Yeah, I'll talk about board games a little bit later.
Favorite things.
Yeah.
So I did finish a pair of socks, and these are the Nomadic Yarns. Dobby is a free elf colorway.
Ooh, that's vanilla is the new black.
Yes, that's the pattern. Vanilla is the new black. It's got these cool ribbed heels. And I actually, on the second sock, I completely finished one heel and then was comparing it to the first and realized I did it completely wrong. Instead of increasing from the center out, I increased on the edges, and it just looked really bad.
You increased. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, don't do it. It didn't turn out well.
No, that was a fail.
And it's just because I wasn't reading the instructions. There's nothing wrong with the pattern. So this is what it looks like, and it's designed in part this way because it's designed so that it can be worn inside out. If that's your preference and you don't like the feeling of the pearl bumps on the bottom of your foot, and some people really don't, then you can wear it inside out.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think that one, the top down, looks a lot better inside out than the toe up. Because there's a toe up version as well that I did. Oh, wait, they're right here. Because nothing leaves this room. So,
everything is leaving this room.
Oh, so there's and it could be how I did it because I'm a terrible short rower, but there's a line that occurs right here that inside out it creates a ridge.
Oh, so let me look. Maybe mine does too, because I mean you got the same decreases. On my end, it's decreases instead of increases, but
no, it's not the same heel turn.
Oh, yeah. So this is what mine looks like on the inside.
Here, I'll flip it inside out for you. These are for you, so don't flip yourself inside out. Ooh.
So this is what mine looks like. It's got a pretty clear cut edge.
Also, I'm not a good end weaver inner. I feel like I should.
You have to stop talking so I can see my thing.
Okay.
It's all about me. Me. Why isn't it focusing? Oh, camera.
Because you're a ghost.
There we go. You're talking again. Okay.
And that's mine, and I'm gonna talk so that I'm big.
Oh, yeah, no, that looks good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna examine a ridge on the inside of the sock.
You shouldn't examine the weaving in at the ends either.
My ends are woven in, but I haven't clipped them because I need to block the sock.
Or anything else about the sock, or any sock that I knit. This is why I cannot enter fairs. Because my finishing is not up to standard.
But they do match all the way down to the little toes.
Oh, look at you.
So fancy.
You are fancy.
And that's all of the crafting that I've done this week. I've really wanted to cut out a new quilt and start a new embroidery project.
Oh, that's so frustrating.
All the things, but everything's packed and I really don't want to have to pack it again. So I'm just waiting.
What projects did you leave unpacked that you can work on next
Everything
week?
that is on the needles is in its own bin. So it's easy.
Is that going to ride in the back of your car?
Well, before everything goes on the truck, I'll pick out a couple things to take with me, but
gotcha.
Probably just a pair of socks.
Who's driving the truck?
So Michael's two of his closest friends are coming up, and they'll both register with the moving company, so they can just take turns.
Oh, so it's gonna be Keith and Ellen. That's cool.
And then Michael's actually staying here around a week after everything's gone, so that he can do all the little touching up in the house that needs to be done. And
is he keeping the animals with him, or are you bringing them down?
Some of them will come with me. Some of them will stay with him. We haven't decided whether I'm taking the dogs or the cats.
Pick the cats.
That's what I would rather do.
And I say that lovingly because Neelix likes twine for 8 hours at a time.
And makes me insane. Yes. So it just depends. Honestly, that's probably what will happen because the dogs are, believe it or not, are easier in transport. Easier to walk and take to a hotel if necessary and all that. So, and the fish are coming, but in a much smaller container, and that'll go. And Michael's got to set up in the back seat of his truck. So
of course he does. And
I was like, "How are you going to get this full thing of water into your truck?" Because water is really heavy, right?
Yeah.
I was like, "How are you going to pick it up and put it into your truck?" And he showed me this ramp that he had built and this thing with wheels, platform with wheels that he's got ready to roll. And I was like, you know what? I shouldn't have doubted you.
Don't even know why you asked.
Yeah.
I do demand a fish tank in truck picture.
I will make sure that he does that.
That will be amazing. All right, so we do have a question from Queenie Lives, or Queenie Lives. I'm thinking it's Queenie Lives. And it says, hi, Laura and Leslie. This question is more for Laura. And she says, I see that you often knit your socks on 2 short circular needles, 16-inch, instead of double points or magic loop. I am wondering if you give a short demo on how you do that. Well, hold on. Oh, this plan was not very thought out. So anyway, then she says, how do you prevent laddering? What do I need to know to use this method? I mostly knit socks on double points, but have recently purchased some needles to try it with 2 short circs, but have not been successful in finding much information on this technique. Well, there's lots of information out there. So the originator of this technique is Kat Bordy, and she published this book called Sock Soar on 2 circular needles. So this was published back in 2001, and it's got several patterns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 patterns, but also everything that you need to get started, including some illustrations. So this is a great book. Wendy Johnson also has some books that include patterns for 2 circular needles. Basically, if you know how to magic loop, you know how to do 2 circulars. All you're doing is working across one needle. So all you need to know is that the yarn is always attached to the last stitch you worked. And at the end of the row, it's going to always be on the right. You're going to knit across your row. This is like a freebie because I get paid money to teach this. Not very much money, but money still. So you just knit across the row. Also, I feel like you could find a bazillion videos on how to do this on the internet. And this is going to be backwards for y'all, so I apologize for that. Let me move it closer to the camera.
So do you do anything special with that first stitch? Do you pull it extra tight?
Nope. I don't. I mean, you can pull it extra tight if you want. You actually want to pull tight on like the first 3 stitches if you're pulling tight, because stitches are all linked through little arms, and it takes more than one to really tighten a stitch. You have to do it for several stitches. And then when you get to the end of the row, you flip your needles so that, again, the working yarn is on the right, and you just work your way across the other side. I find that this actually ladders less than with double points, because with double points, you're moving between needles 4 to 3 times. And this, you're just doing it on either side. I don't know. Do you have, like, when you magic loop, because essentially this is the same as magic looping, except you have 2 big loops of
yeah, technique-wise, it's essentially the same. The equipment is slightly different, but yeah, it is essentially the same. I don't, because I'm a tight knitter in general, I don't typically get ladders. I already pull tight enough on those first few stitches that I don't have that issue. But you know, from everything that I've read, ladders are more frequently seen when you're using double points, and that may be simply a matter of math. And like you said, you're changing needles 4 times versus 2 times.
I think it's actually the angle of your needles, because you see them much more frequently with 3 needles, with a 4th being used, versus 4 with the 5. And that seems to me like that's an angle issue.
It could be. I mean, I don't like using double points because the way that I hold my needles, the other end always stabs me, and it's just too fussy for me. It makes sense for something like sleeves, the way that I knit, but
I used to use sleeves a lot. I also magic loop sleeves a lot.
I do magic loop sleeves a lot, but it depends. If they're already attached to the garment, then it can be kind of like unwieldy moving it around. So it just depends.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that's now I have to finish this row, this increased row, because otherwise half my sock will be increased on, because the next time I pick it up, I will forget that that is what I was doing.
So hopefully that helped, Jamie.
Maybe a little bit.
If not, there are some really great tutorials out there. I would check first. The sort of my default when I was starting knitting was knittinghelp.com because their videos are really, really clear. But there's, with the advent of technology and it being easier, there's lots of independent folks that do it as well. So.
Oh yeah, I feel like Knitty might also have.
They might. They do have a video contributor, but I don't know if they've covered that particular thing. But they probably have diagrams, if nothing else.
Yeah. But it's been around since 2001, so there should be material out there on it, for sure. If my little upside down backwards did not help you, which I don't know who it would help. But I think the most important thing to remember with that and with Magic Loop is that the yarn is always attached to the last stitch you worked. And when you change between needles, it should always be on the right. And
if you're anywhere near a local yarn shop, go and take a class. Yeah. You're supporting your local shop, and you're essentially expanding your knitting community. You might make a new friend. And
the first sock class that I ever took was 2 circs, and it was like 24-inch ones, maybe 36-inch ones, because we were doing 2 at a time from the toe up with short row heels.
First off, huh?
Well, I already kind of knew how to knit socks because that's what Mama Linneman taught me how to knit on double points when I learned how to knit. But that was my first, like, hey, here's a sock class.
Yeah.
This is how we knit socks. And mainly I took it because Becca already knew how to knit socks, and I wanted to know how to knit socks.
That's why I started knitting, because I had to be better than my friend.
And that was I took that class in 2005 because it was the year that I moved to Memphis. So, because then I actually had a local yarn shop. And by local, I mean 45 minutes away that I would drive into Memphis to go to. And that shop's sadly out of business. I feel like I'm the shop like death. Like I'm the Grim Reaper of yarn shops, because I have gone to every single yarn shop that I have frequented more like on a weekly type basis or a regular basis has closed.
I think it's
been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The area just doesn't support.
I could see that too.
The product. I mean,
I feel like the South does not have quite as hardcore knitters as the North does, just because you can't wear as much.
Yeah, weather-wise, there's a valid reason for that. I mean, yes, there's cotton yarns, and that's wonderful, but it's hard to build an entire yarn shop around it,
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure. For sure.
So, reading. I have read almost nothing this week, but I have been listening to audiobooks like a fiend. Let me see what my hours are this week for audiobooks. More me. Sorry. I've been listening to an average of 7 hours a day.
Oh my goodness. While you pack?
Because I'm packing, right? So it keeps me. I mean, sometimes I just want to listen to music, but when I'm doing a long involved thing, like I went through my entire laundry room, and I've got like these big giant shelves full of stuff, and I have to sort Kobe's stuff and my stuff and Michael's stuff. Anyway, so I've listened to Prickly Business, which is a hedgehog and wolf romance. Shifter romance, yeah. It was, I mean, it was okay. I probably wouldn't shell out the money.
I don't know with a description like that how you can pass that up.
It's Prickly Business. And then I listened to Family of Lies, which I think it's the first of what I assume is going to be a series. And it's also a male-male romance, and it was funny. But the main character is one of 11 kids, and they reference the other kids so many times. Like, I couldn't keep up with who was who. So I just pretty much ignored it until it went back to one of the main characters. But it was okay. I also re-listened to a book by Alexis Hall called For Real, which is really, really good. But it is a male-male romance, and it does touch on some more adult themes, so it's not for the kids. But I found it a really just heartfelt book. And then I
of the books, I like how you preface that one, but have any of the books that you've suggest or listened to today been acceptable for children?
No.
See?
I should preface that.
We should just say everything that Leslie reads is not appropriate for children.
I should, as a blanket statement. If it is, I'll say that it is.
I feel like that's probably the best way to go.
And then I'm listening to Socrates, which is kind of a fantasy military sort of. I just started it, so I don't really know. I'm still trying to figure out what it is. But that's pretty much it. I've been listening to audiobooks. I haven't really read a whole lot. This is how much of an old lady I am. I'll sit in bed at night, and instead of reading this week, I've been listening to an audiobook and doing digital jigsaw puzzles on my tablet. Because I'm an old lady.
There's nothing wrong with that. So I've been listening. Well, I haven't been listening to anything because I read books. I don't listen to them. Sometimes I listen to them, but that's very rare. Because when I could listen to them at work would be when I'm processing books and I have to keep an ear on the kids. So it doesn't happen, but I'm going to try to get back into listening to Leslie. And I were talking about Audible, and she was like, well, I want to see what's in your Audible library. And she's like, there's nothing here. And I was like, what? And she's like, oh, you haven't purchased anything in over a year. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's pretty accurate. Because I have a great public library that has lots of audiobooks and ebooks. I haven't found the need to do that recently. So that's cool. I finished reading Nice Dragons Finished Last, the third in that series by Rachel Aaron. Oh my goodness. A cliffhanger ending. Seriously. Okay. Serious cliffhanger ending. B, multiple deaths of main characters.
Oh,
and I'm just going to leave that at that. So, but I like that. Like, if everything ended with rainbows and unicorn farts, it would be much less.
And that's something that I've noticed a lot more as I'm buying books on Amazon, especially in the romance genre. Usually at the bottom of the description of the book of who it's about and what the main premise is, it'll say, this is a so many words book with happily ever after, no cliffhanger. I'm like, why am I even going to bother to read it? It's like, I already know what happens. Everybody's happy.
The kids and I were discussing how fiction authors create and how they create characters and plot, and sometimes they create setting, and they always create conflict. Because if there's not conflict, that is a boring book. And I use Jeff Kinney's Diary of Wimpy as an example, and I'm like, Greg would wake up, he would go to school, he'd see some cheese lying on the ground, he would go home, he'd play video games with his bestie, and that would be the whole entire book. Does that sound interesting? No. What kinds of conflict does Greg have that causes it to be more interesting? And we talk about how conflict in everyday life might not be the best thing. It might stress us out, but conflict in books is the best choice ever. Because if there's no conflict, there's nothing driving the plot to move forward. And I just became a total librarian geek on you, and I'm going to stop. But I do enjoy some good conflict. And then this book does not have conflict, really. Well, a little bit of conflict, but not really. But it is amazing. So I participated in Acreworks Tour de Fleece team, and I won a prize. And not only any prize, the best prize that there was. So I won an autographed copy of Charlie Needs a Cloak. And these pictures, these illustrations might look familiar because this is the same guy who did like Andy and Stregonana and some really cool books. I grew up reading these books. So the basic premise is there's Charlie, and Charlie's sheep love Charlie, but he's got this cloak that he really needs to replace. It's pretty raggedy looking. And it walks you through, and you can see the sheep's eating it. This is the conflict. That sheep, that is a naughty sheep. But he loves his sheep. And so it talks about the whole process. So shearing.
I like how the sheep's just laying there and like, yeah, go ahead.
Washing.
Oh.
With the bubbles. And carding. And then that naughty sheep is over there. I love the expression.
Yeah.
Like, that sheep looks so put out at that point. Like, seriously, naughty sheep. Then it's spinning with a distaff, by the way.
Oh, fancy.
Check out that. Charlie is like a Renaissance man. And the sheep are helping, of course. Because I would totally trust sheep with my bobbins. And then it talks about natural dyeing and picking pokeweed berries during the late summer and boiling them over a fire and dyeing them. And look at that sheep. He's like, not today, sir. Not today. Then it goes into the warping of the loom, and the sheep's helping with that. And then Charlie's face is like...
Yeah. I don't see that being a super efficient way to warp, but it is super cute.
Yeah. And there's weaving, and the sheep's wearing the cloth, and then he cuts it, the cloth, and the sheep is helping again, as you do. And then he's pinning the pieces together, and the sheep grabs like a stray piece and makes himself a hat.
Aww.
And then he's sewing, and he wears glasses when he sews. Charlie does, which is very cute. And then when winter comes, he has a beautiful new red cloak that someone is helping. So it's a great book. And then in the back, it actually has a glossary of terms. So shearing and carding and spinning and weaving and sewing and what those mean with
That's
illustrations. Cool. So it's a cute kids book. I highly recommend it. It retails for $18 in the US, but super adorable. And
how did this come about to be a prize for?
So I will tell you. So I feel like maybe it's Aiden's sister. Someone, I can't remember who exactly. Now I feel terrible. I feel like it's Aiden's sister. Works very much spends a lot of time on an organization that Dolly Parton founded, which brings books to children who wouldn't already have access to books. And
it's like
Tommy,
a book a month until they're 5 or something, right?
I feel like it was. I don't know if that's still, but she is very, and that's actually my parents' library had a huge donation from Dolly Parton, and that's how I think it became endowed. So Dolly Parton is amazing. She is a huge advocate for literacy among children. And one of the people that helps and contributes to this drive to provide books with children is Tommy. And so Aiden's, I'm going to say Aiden's sister, and I'm probably wrong, but whoever it is has worked on with that organization and knows Tommy because of that. And she got 4 copies of the book donated, signed, autographed as prizes. And I'm telling you what, it would be cool to win the little yellow striping hedgehog, or the bobbins that are the yellow, that are special Tour de France bobbins that they offer as prizes. But this was the perfect prize for me, and I'm super stoked. And my middle schoolers actually do a unit that I co-teach with the art teacher about the fiber arts, and I'm going to use it as a read aloud for that as well. So I'm super excited about it. It is the perfect present, and it's mine. If I was a better human being, I'd share it with my nieces. Totally not. This is mine. So,
okay. So this is called Books from Birth, and I'm going to put a link in the show notes because it is free. You have to meet a couple of eligibility requirements, But it might be something for our viewers who don't know
definitely.
about it, where you can get a book a month, for your child, and it is still Dolly Parton does still sponsor it.
Yeah.
So
she's very cool. I mean, she grew up in rural
East Tennessee,
and did not have access to books as a child, and has made that really, like, a lot of celebrities have something that they stand by, but she is a huge advocate for children's literacy, and I think that's super important, obviously, with me doing the job that I do. So that is a superb book, and I don't know what else to say, but I was super excited, did a dance when it came, excited, as you do. So, favorite things, board game shenanigans. So, Kobe, Leslie's 13, 14, 8th grader.
Put away as much as 2 grown men in food.
Oh my gosh. We got a 16-inch pizza from Sam's Club, and I had 2 pieces.
I'm impressed that you got 2 pieces.
Mainly because, like, I gave him a whole plate and, like, piled it, and then I was like, yoink, yoink. Rest is in the fridge, kid. So, yeah, but, like, Sunday he wasn't really hungry, so I think the growth spurt is over, maybe. I'm going to cross my fingers on that. So Kobe's been spending the weekends with me. So he comes over Friday at around 4. I pick him up from Leslie's in-laws, and then he stays till Sunday around 4 or 5. So that's why we've been recording on Mondays, because after he leaves, I'm like,
he's a good kid, but he's a lot.
He's a good kid, and he was perfectly fine. Like, he's been extremely well behaved. Like, not a problem at all. But I also have 1,100 teens that I run off after, like, on a daily basis for 8 to 9 hours a day. So usually my weekends here are, like, silent. So it's just not silent, which is fine. I need to be more flexible. And we had lunch with Alicia too, and her 8-month-old,
yep,
right around there, and her 2-year-old and her 5-year-old. Yeah. Molly's
she is 5.
Yeah, she's going to kindergarten this year. So that was a lot of children, but awesome, like, super well behaved as well. And I got my little baby snuggles, so I got, like, I'm good for another 2 years. Yeah. So we hung out and we played a lot of board games, and board games that we played were Ticket to Ride this weekend. So Ticket to Ride is a game in which you are a railroad baron, and you get cards and you have to plan these routes, and other barons are trying to stop you. Will Wheaton has a great kind of review / people playing it. He's got a video podcast called Tabletop, which I did not know, but was amazing. And now I'm going to purchase, I think, the European version as well, because that has tunnels and a couple other things. Yes. It is a good 2-player game, but I feel like it would be a better multiple player game. So guess what you're gonna do? And the other one that we played was Carcassonne, which you are building, like, castles, and you have abbeys and roads, and you get points. Both of these kind of, you score as you go, but the big scoring kind of happens at the end, which I find is awesome with Kobe, because it keeps him engaged. Even if he's, like, a little bit behind, he's like, oh, I can totally still come back and win at the end. So it keeps him engaged until the end when I destroy him. So actually I lost at Carcassonne because he kept taking over my castles. So I can't play 2-player. He is vicious. Like, he would purposely just, like, add on to my castles, which when you're only playing with 2 players kind of, like, wipes the slate even.
Yeah. I think some games, even though you can play them with 2, it's just really not as fun with 2.
They're fine 2-player games. I told Ponky, she's like she goes to Gen Con, and so does the fat squirrel Amy Beth, and so does Spin Farm. Yep. So those 3 people, I text them like, is this a good game for 2 people? Is this not a good game for 2 people? So those are fine for 2 people for sure. It's just, it comes a point where I've defeated Kobe 3 times and he won't play with me anymore. But I offer to I'm like, I will walk you through, I will model for you my thought process as I play so you can kind of get an idea of how I'm winning. And he's like, no, I don't want to know how you win. And he plays in the moment. With games that you have to think ahead, like 20 steps, playing in the moment does not always work to your benefit. So Ticket to Ride is like half luck, half strategy. And I feel like Carcassonne is kind of the same way. I think that's it. Those are the 2 that we really played this weekend. Those were our shenanigans. So we have Stash Dash prizes. Stash Dash is still going on for another week until the Olympics end.
Mm-hmm.
So some awesome prizes that were sent to us to give away. Stranded Dye Works sent her Oasis base in the Fun Fair colorway.
She's going to hit 15K. She's only 1,000 meters away from 15K.
That's amazing. I hope I hit 10,000 at this point. That is my new goal.
5, and it's not going to happen.
I'm
okay.
Yeah, I'm at 8 right now. This will be the first year that I haven't hit my goal, which is kind of sad, but kind of indicative of my life right now. So, Stranded Dye Works, Oasis, and the Fun Fair. But yes, I think Amy Florence will hit her goal. I have faith in her. And she's got an amazing podcast. And she's also dyeing some new colorways. So,
Jasmine is kicking butt on hers as well. She's been posting on Instagram and she's been finishing things. She's gonna do more than I have. And I'm like, you've got 2 kids. This is not fair.
Yeah. It's like you're moving your entire house, though.
Yeah, but anyway.
And running a podcast and a retreat. And we went to TNNA. We did a lot of stuff this year. I've flown 7 times since January.
This is the first year that my PTO has been depleted by the end of August. It's gone. It will be by the end of August after I move. Yeah, I won't have the end.
Will you be able to take Friday off for SAF?
I can't do SAF because I'll be on call.
Oh.
I got the schedule today.
Ew. That makes me super sad. Do you want to just come and sit at my parents' house and play in Mom's stash? You can come with me.
Yeah, I'll have to look and see if I can get somebody to watch the phone while I'm driving.
Or just riding with me.
Yeah.
I can drive. I have the power. Cheeky Garden is one of our other awesome people who sent us a prize for Stash Dash. And this is the Rose by Any Other Name colorway. Then we have some bags. We have a bag by Sarah's Cotton Patch. Super cute. Love the little... Super cute. And then 2 super cute. I love these sheep. This kind of reminds me of the Charlie Needs a Cloak sheep. Nikozuki knits. There we go. Today was my first checkouts with 6th graders, so I'm no longer literate. Really, I'm just pretending. And another one by her. That's super cute in Western. It's funny because our intermediate school has much different rules than what I have at my school.
For checking out books?
Yes. At the intermediate school, they have to get 1 fiction on grade level and 1 nonfiction on grade level. I don't care what they read. I just want them reading.
Yeah.
I don't care if all you want to read is graphic novels. I might say after 6 weeks, hey, notice you love these Amulet graphic novels. Let me come show you this amazing book. It's called Artemis Fowl. You will adore it. And then we just go from there. And if they hate it, there's an Artemis Fowl graphic novel too. Oh, so sneaky. Anyway, so those are the Stash Dash prizes. And I will be teaching at House of Yarn. Maybe you can come to House of Yarn with me, Nashville, that weekend. I'll be leaving Friday after school. And that will be September 17th. So that's going to be a fun weekend. So you should definitely see if you are not on call for that.
I will take it.
We will do Patreon prizes. I totally forgot to grab them. And I want to spin that $5 before I actually do the drawing. So we will do them for July next week. How about that? Or not next week. We're taking next week off. Oh, I'm a terrible human being. No, we'll do them this week because I can show you the mini skeins. Because I have a mini skein right here, which is very sad. But we do have, unless you haven't sorted it. Have you sorted it?
I haven't sorted anything.
Okay. So we're going to wait. And at the end of August, we will do drawings for July and August. How about that? I'm sorry about that, guys. We're a little bit crazy right now.
Yes.
With me going back to work and Leslie moving across the country. But 2 skeins, 2 full-size skeins, like 450 yards of this cool colorway will be enough to knit some socks. And we will give that away. And another prize, and then 2 skeins of hand spun at the end of this month. Because next week, just a random thing, we are taking a break. We will be off because Leslie is moving. We will be off. She moves on the 21st, so we are taking the weekend of the 20th and the 21st off. We will be back on the 28th, and then the following weekend is Labor Day, and we will be recording, and we might have an extra special guest because
that'd be nice.
The word on the streets is that my parents are visiting that weekend, so I might convince Mama Linneman
to come on.
Yes, I could convince Wheezy and like that, but it'd be worthless. So
it wouldn't be worthless, but it would be less knitting content than usual.
That's probably true. Our Portland signups are still going on for the SKP retreat, and all the information on that you can find in our last episode, which was 310. And also there's a small blurb on the TheKnitGirll's website, www.thenitgirls.com. That's also where you sign up, and we will be continuing those until 8/25. And we've had a great response for that so far. So thank you, everyone who signed up. And thank you, Hohi, for putting it on her Instagram, because like that day it was like, here we go.
Hohi is very good at self-promotion, and who wouldn't want to come and take a class with her and Vera? It's going to be great. I'm super excited.
They are very sweet, for sure. I'm excited. But I'm going to try to sneak into one class, and then Leslie's going to try to sneak into one class.
I think it will make it work. It's a much smaller group, easier to manage.
It is. So. We have, we would love to take every single class at SSK, but we have to, like, just do one. And sometimes just that one is a struggle.
Yeah.
Sometimes. But I think that's about it. Is there anything else that I hope you have a very safe move.
Me too.
No fish tanks flying out the back of pickup trucks.
Won't be my problem if they do.
I hope you get the cats and not the dogs.
Yeah, me too, even though I'm not a litter box fan, but I can deal with it for a week. Mostly, I really just don't want to haul all this crap upstairs. So my friend Alan is one of the guys that's coming up, and he's the IT manager for our company down in Tunica, where I'm going to have an office. And he IM'd me today, and I was like, yep, I'm sure going to put your fit butt to work because you can lift a lot more than me. He's testing for his jiu-jitsu black belt this year. He's like a year ahead of schedule. It takes a really long time to get a jiu-jitsu belt, like 7 years.
One of my coworkers actually co-owned his studio with him for a while.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Such a small world. And then it's the guy that I knit one of the baby things for, and he just had like his 7th kid, and he's like, yeah, I don't have time. Like, he and his wife both went into the marriage with like 4 kids each or something. Maybe she had like 4 and he had 2.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a very Brady bunch. And then they just had their first together. Who refuses to sleep through the night, and I laugh at him every day because I'm a terrible human being.
Yeah, you are. But I'm also very selfish and enjoy my sleep, and that is top 5 reason that I did not have another kid. So.
Well, to each their own. Anyway, so I will see you in a week. That's exciting. Yes. I will bring you cupcakes from the cupcake place.
I'm probably mostly going to want a cold shower because it's hot there.
If you want to stay at my place Monday night, like drop the cats off at your new house.
Everything. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's a definite impossibility, but.
But if you would rather sleep in a bed than on an air mattress, if you don't have a bed set up yet.
Yeah.
Your cats can't come though, because I have a jerk cat who already cannot
Mine will already
behave.
be traumatized enough. So
They can just explore your new house.
yeah. They were all there before though. I mean, they all lived there before. So.
Yeah, that's true. But it's been 4 years, so.
All right, we're babbling.
Anyway, we are.
will not
I'll talk
see
to
you
you
next
later.
week, but we'll see you in 2 weeks. And you guys
Yes, and we will do for sure all the Patreon stuff ahead of time.
Yeah.
I feel guilty.
Me too.
All right.
But my guilt level it's already like it overflows, so I can't even feel it anymore. So
We'll get there.
All right, you guys have a lovely couple weeks, and we'll see you the weekend of the 28th.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.